My sheep hear my voice, and the stranger they will not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers.
Boys and girls, all praise to the Most High Yah, our Chief Shepherd, that we're here again. We have a very serious subject today. We have a few things to cover and may not get it all in one lesson. Please watch this video with the Chief Shepherd in mind. Today we will learn about eyes and ears. This seems like a simple lesson, doesn't it? Alright, let's get into this. We all know what eyes and ears are, right? Have you ever seen a deaf person?
Hi, are you Megan? I'm Pauline. I am so excited for this interview. Thank you.
How about a blind person?
Hi everyone on YouTube. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how a blind person walks in public.
Well, today this lesson is far deeper. We will learn about spiritual deafness and blindness. Let's learn a little more about physical first. Let's watch this video on someone using a blindfold, but for a good reason.
Crossing a busy intersection can be intimidating with cars quickly cruising by. Now imagine doing it blindfolded. It's exactly what dozens of students like Julie Greenleaf are doing.
We've done downtown area, learning with more lighted intersections, and then here at 34th and Flint, doing lighted intersections with more traffic, as well as the grocery store and the mall and all those things.
Greenleaf, along with 21 others, have spent part of the summer learning what it's like to be blind. It's part of the orientation and mobility program offered by the College of Education at Texas Tech. Pam Dalton is one of the instructors.
They are learning so that they can go back to where they've come from to teach students who are visually impaired how to travel safely.
Once she's done, Greenleaf will take what she's learned back to Georgia, where she works with students who have visual impairments.
We're a very rural area, even though we're close to downtown Atlanta, and we don't have any orientation mobility specialists. So I kind of came out here, that way I could get more qualifications to be able to better serve the students that I work with.
On this day, Greenleaf helped guide a fellow student across the street, first using a map to describe the destination and coaching as needed along the way.
As a teacher, you can tell somebody how it should be done, but then when you're under blindfold, you really learn those important things as opposed to saying, oh, it's over here, it's over there, giving those north, south, east, and west, right, left directions and being more specific with your wording. Just really getting those terms down when you're under blindfold to help you become a better teacher.
Although none of the students taking the course are blind, Greenleaf says being blindfolded has taught her how to better connect with those who are.
While you can't say, I know what it's like, you know what it's like to kind of help them better, but we just do it for 5 hours a day and then we get to go back.
In 5 weeks, Dalton says the class has come a long way.
They were terrified to be under blindfold without holding on to somebody. They were afraid to walk down the hall by themselves with their cane, and now they're out crossing lighted intersections independently.
And with the fieldwork now finished, Greenleaf and her peers will take a test to officially become certified orientation and mobility specialists.
Having the experience as a teacher and somebody under blindfold is really important.
They were only doing a test in that video. But is it safe to walk across the street with a blindfold on? No. Do you know that we can also make ourselves deaf and blind to things that go on around us? Let's see how. Watch closely.
Every day, millions of people in the United States cross the streets safely. So how difficult can it be? Well, consider this. Last year, for the first time in 4 years, pedestrian deaths rose according to the Governor's Highway Safety Association.
We do it automatically, but it actually involves a lot of thought processes. It involves perception, seeing the traffic. It involves judging at least 3 things: the car in your left, how fast it's going, how far away it is, and whether it's accelerating or decelerating. The car on your right, the same 3 things. And on top of all those vehicles, you also have to think about how far it is across the road and how fast you can make that distance.
David Schwabel is director of the UAB Youth Safety Lab. He has developed a virtual reality program to study how kids and adults cross the street. Schwabel's latest study in the virtual lab examines the hazards of crossing the street while distracted by technology.
Yes, you got it.
With 0 distractions, 6% failed to cross the street safely. That number doubled for those talking on a cell phone. It doubled again for people texting. But the real shocker, those who were simply listening to music were hit by traffic 1 out of every 3 times they attempted to cross.
Oh my gosh, I think you need to try that again.
The big thing with listening to music is your ears are distracted. Your ears are not functioning because they're listening to the music.
The study tested more than 125 students. They crossed a 2-lane road with cars moving from both directions at 30 miles per hour. Schwabel is quick to point out the simulator does not allow pedestrians to speed up or traffic to slow down. But if both are distracted in real life, they won't adjust there either.
Drivers also have to pay attention. Part of pedestrian injuries is not the pedestrian, but the drivers. So we need attentive drivers, especially in areas with heavy pedestrian traffic.
Possible solution for pedestrians? Simply put the gadget down.
We're going to continue to see changes. We're going to continue to see distracted pedestrians and distracted drivers, and it is going to influence our safety on the roads. Not in a good way.
Did you see that? Distraction from cell phone and other electronics can make us become blind and deaf to our surroundings. That is very important to know. Let's see some crazy things that happens when a cell phone makes people deaf and blind. Did you see what can happen when we make ourselves deaf and blind? So boys and girls, next time we cross the street, let's stop all electronics so that we can be safe and not deaf and blind. Now it's time to get into the spiritual part of this. Do you know that people make themselves spiritually blind? When families should be doing this, they are usually doing this.
Of course I take responsibility. I'm president.
It said how she was going to...
Which one builds the relationship with Yah the Chief Shepherd? This?
February 16th.
Or this? That's an easy answer, boys and girls. When we don't spend enough time reading and studying the Bible, we make ourselves spiritually blind. This means when Yah is talking to us and showing us things, we cannot hear Him, either can we see what He's showing us. It's like walking across the street with the blindfold on and our ears closed. That's very dangerous. Now to break down even further, let's go deeper into this with more examples. Have you ever heard somebody say, just read one Bible verse a day? Look to my right. Psalms 23, Yah is my shepherd, I shall not want. Think about that for a second. That's like taking one vitamin per day with no food. Is that healthy? I heard someone say, just sleep with the Bible under your head. Let's think about this for a second. If you had to take a test in school, could you just sleep with the math book under your head and never have to study? Parents, let me ask you a question. If your car is broken and you take it to the shop, should the mechanic just put your repair book in his back pocket then work on your car? Should you just put the Bible in your back pocket and expect to do the work of Yah? This causes spiritual blindness and deafness. Your spiritual eyes and ears will be shut. Boys and girls, let's watch this video to show you when doing bad things we become spiritually deaf and blind. But when doing the works of Yah, we can clearly hear and see.
After traveling in the desert for 3 months, they came to Mount Sinai.
What did the chief shepherd do?
And God called Moses from the top of the mountain.
Moshe, known as Moses, was able to hear Yah.
God spoke to Moses there of the future of his people and reminded him of the miracles of the past.
The others were spiritually deaf and blind. Let's see what they heard.
After 3 days, there was thunder and lightning as a thick cloud covered the mountain. The people heard a loud trumpet blast. And Moses led people to the foot of the mountain to meet with God.
People saw a cloud and heard a trumpet because they were spiritually deaf and blind. Moshe heard Yah. Yah, how do people get deaf and blind?
Yah has blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts, so that their eyes cannot see, their hearts cannot understand, and they cannot turn to me and have me heal them.
What will you do to people if they act like people of Moshe?
Harden the hearts of these people, plug their ears and shut their eyes. That way, they will not see with their eyes, or hear with their ears, nor understand with their hearts and turn to me for healing.
Why are there so many deaf and blind people?
You live among rebels who have eyes but refuse to see. They have ears but refuse to hear, for they are a rebellious people.
In times of trouble, people seek help from
a crystal ball.
These are just a very few of the things that can cause spiritual deafness and blindness. Let's see what Yah has to say.
Oh, that my people would listen to me. Oh, that Israel would follow me, walking in my paths. Thus says Yah, your Redeemer, the pure one of Israel. I am Yah, your Elohim, who teaches you to profit, who leads you in the way you should go.
People go to.
In the natural, you don't have a chance. Don't be intimidated. The forces that are for you are greater than the forces that are against you.
Ashley Ortega and her friend Corey are making a video about how to play with a Ouija board. Ashley claims to have some bad experiences with the board before and is hesitant about trying it again. But curiosity gets the best of her and they start asking questions.
And ask them what they shall do. Then they go to God and tell them what to do. We should go to Yah and ask Him, what shall I do? Think about that.
If you love me, you will keep my commandments.
When danger comes, we are not to pray, keep me safe, but ask Yah, what must I do to be safe? We should be able to hear Yah's voice and see what He has for us to be safe. This is our spiritual eyes and ears, boys and girls, and parents. We have to hear his voice.
Your eye is a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is good, your whole body is filled with light. But when it is bad, your body is filled with darkness. Make sure that the light you think you have is not actually darkness.
In the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8, Yah tells us to study his word continually and not the word of man. This opens our spiritual eyes and ears and causes us to prosper. Yah's son, the Messiah, spoke in parables, so let us see why he did it.
You are permitted to understand the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but others are not. To those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given, and they will have an abundance of knowledge. But for those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them. That is why I use these parables. For they look, but they don't really see. They hear, but they don't really listen or understand.
I pray you got something good from this lesson. I left some links in the description box down below. Like, subscribe, and share. Hope to see you next time. Remember what? Obey your parents. Bye!
I have made Israel for myself, and they will someday honor me before the whole world. I, yes, I alone, will blot out your sins for my own sake, and will never think of them again.